Big news with the war in Ukraine. If true, Russia has halted conscription. The draft has stopped for now. This is Crisis Report. Please remember to like and subscribe. Now, we're going to get into this here. This is from TASS, the Russian news agency. Now, I don't trust TASS. I don't trust most news agencies on this, on Ukraine war, but we need to have a starting basis somewhere else. And since this is Russia reporting on Russia, in a way I think it's correct as far as it's going to go. And we're going to take a look at this, and then I will analyze what I think. I'll give you my analysis of what I think is going on. Right. Okay. As the headline says, all partial military mobilization activities have been halted. Russian Defense Ministry. Okay. Moscow, October 30th, Halloween. Interesting day. All activities related to conscription of reservists for military service by military enlistment officers and regional governments have been halted, and the preparation and handing out of military summonses are now stopped, the ministry said. Reports on the wrapping up of the partial mobilization are to be submitted by November 1st. So they need to let the ministry know what's going on here. In all districts and the Northern Fleet, assembly centers, and other buildings that were used for mobilization efforts will now be used for their previous purposes, and military enlistment officers will go back to their routine duties, the ministry said. The Defense Ministry said the enlistment officers will only enlist volunteers and contract servicemen for the armed forces. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu on October 28 told President Vladimir Putin that the partial mobilization, which started on September 21st, has wrapped up. Shoigu says 300,000 people have been called up. No further goals were being planned as part of the partial mobilization. Keep mentioning partial mobilization, and that they had never really planned on mobilizing everybody. It was just to be partial, as they're saying here. Now, why is this important? Well, it has ramifications. To understand the situation going on, you need to look from a historical perspective. I would say the United States was winning the Vietnam War in the field in Vietnam, but it lost it on the home front. It lost the political will. The populace lost the will to fight and suffer the casualties of the war in Vietnam. That's how it lost. Well, if you're going to be drafting large numbers of Russian men to go off in this war, you're going to reduce support for the war. I think that is partially what is going on here in the negative reaction to the draft. But I think also 300,000 men, if that number is correct, is a lot of men to feed, a lot of men to clothe, a lot of men to house, a lot of men to arm, and particularly if these men, which we don't know that they are, but if these men are being deployed into the field, they're going to be that greater burden on supply into the field. And it's been a few days, but the last I checked, the bridge into Crimea was still not operational, and they were still using ferries to get the trucks across, and there's a huge backlog of large trucks to bring goods into Crimea of whatever type. So just choking the front with men is not going to succeed, in my opinion, in bringing about victory. So I think they very much needed a greater presence on the ground because Ukraine is a big space, and to try to control what is going on there, you need a lot of boots on the ground. But I think it's a combination of all the logistics reports or deficiencies that we see of old equipment being issued out, inconsistent uniforming of soldiers, so meaning they're looking at different supply depots to supply these soldiers as opposed to using modern equipment and modern uniforms. I think that's part of the reason. I also think it's a political dimension within Russia that is influencing this. Now, we're going to have to see how this mobilization affects the situation on the ground in Ukraine, and I am anxiously waiting to find out about that. Thanks, everyone. I hope this helps you understand what's going on. Like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. Crisis Report